Revenge films.
My name is Ashley. I'm 33 years old, married, and live with my husband Tom and our elementary school-aged son. Now that my child is more independent, I've started working part-time. When I was a kid, my family moved to Paris because of my parents' job transfer. I worked at a clothing store there while learning about real French fashion. I only finished middle school, but I'm confident in my fashion knowledge and sense. That's why I now work at a local apparel shop. Both the staff and customers often say things like, "Ashley, you really know a lot about fashion." Even the owner, who's also the president of the company, highly values my skills. He's asked me several times to become a full-time employee, but I've turned him down since my child is still young. I get along well with regular customers, part-timers, and full-time employees. Work was enjoyable, except for one person, the president's wife, who also happens to be one of my mom friends. She often drops by the store even when she has no reason to. Apparently, she enjoys being treated like the president's wife. She gives irrelevant advice from a superior attitude and even makes us run errands like bringing her drinks, so everyone dislikes her. She frequently flirts with young male employees and college student part-timers, speaking to them in a sweet, coy voice. But since everyone's busy, they usually just brush her off. On the other hand, those same employees often rely on me, which seems to have made her jealous. I became her target. One day she spoke to me during work. "You seem to be good at flirting with the guys around here. They only act nice because you've been here a long time and they feel sorry for you." "Yes, everyone's very kind to me," I replied calmly. I brushed off her sarcasm. "Which university did you graduate from?" she asked. "I didn't. I only graduated middle school." "Middle school? Oh, a bottom feeder like you is basically stealing a salary. You probably can't even do your job properly." She clearly looked down on me for being a part-timer with no degree. "Then I'll quit." "Go ahead. It's not like I can fire someone with nowhere else to go. I'm kind enough not to fire a middle school dropout. You should be grateful." At that moment, I made up my mind to leave. None of them yet knew that the store would turn into a nightmare after I was gone. Honestly, I was surprised she backed off so easily, but I found out why a few days later. She had been spreading around that I was a middle school dropout. "The part-timer Ashley only graduated from middle school. She acts all high and mighty, talking about fashion like she's some kind of expert. I actually admire her. How can someone with that kind of education speak her mind without any shame? If I were a middle school dropout, I'd be too embarrassed to even show my face in public." She said it loudly enough for me to hear on purpose. "No one else would hire a middle school dropout, so I'm being kind by keeping her here. I mean, I am a generous person, you know," she bragged, clearly trying to impress one of the male college student part-timers. The part-timers at our shop wore stylish, sharp haircuts, trendy clothes, and honestly, many of them were quite handsome. "Unlike Ashley, I graduated from a famous university, of course," she boasted again, seemingly unaware of the annoyed looks from the male staff and customers around her. Even after everyone learned about my education, nothing changed. Both the full-time employees and the part-timers treated me the same as before. I've never been ashamed of being a middle school graduate. In this job, what matters most is how well you work. Still, the way the president's wife kept spreading my background around made me angry. One day, while I was helping a customer, she suddenly snapped at me in front of everyone. "Don't act so important when you're just a middle school dropout. People will think all our employees are uneducated like you. You should stay in the back and clean. Leave the customer service to the smart ones, the college students, and the full-time staff." "Please, wait, ma'am. This customer specifically asked for my advice on coordinating their outfit." "Oh, please. They probably just talked to you because you looked bored and had nothing better to do. Anyone could do what you do. Now, hurry up and start cleaning." So I moved to the back of the store and apologized to the customer. While I was cleaning the office, the store manager came in for a break. I told him I was quitting my part-time job. I said, "The reason why I'm quitting is the president's wife's behavior." Other staff members who were also on break immediately started voicing their own complaints about her. Lately, there have been bad rumors about the store spreading on social media. I'm leaving, but you really need to deal with this situation. I told the manager seriously. She was a full-time employee, so it was clear she couldn't easily speak out against the boss's wife. Then the president's wife walked into the office. The trash can's full. Someone like you with your garbage-level education should know how to handle trash. Go take care of it." Usually she only confronted me on the shop floor, where I avoided responding for the customer's sake. But this time, it was just the manager and staff in the office, so I spoke up. "It's true that I only graduated from middle school, but isn't it going too far to treat me like garbage?" "A middle school dropout is basically stealing a paycheck. Actually, that's unfair to garbage. Trash doesn't steal salaries. You're worse than garbage." "Madam President, with all due respect, I am not garbage, and I am certainly not stealing my wages. I work hard and earn every yen I'm paid." "How dare you talk back to me like that?" In truth, I was the one most often asked for advice by customers. I had plenty of fashion knowledge, and the other staff members frequently relied on me. Ability and education aren't the same thing, are they? Between a middle school graduate who actually helps the store and a college graduate who only gets in the way, isn't it obvious which one's more useful? It was rare for me to keep arguing, but I did. The president's wife looked momentarily stunned, then her face twisted with anger. "Education is important, the most important thing. And what exactly do you think you contribute around here?" "I could ask you the same thing. You interrupt our work to make us serve you tea and distract everyone with pointless chatter. How is that useful to the store?" "A beautiful president's wife like me boosts the morale of the male staff, obviously." "Actually, morale drops every time you show up." "Well, that's not all. Unlike you part-timers and temps, I'm busy. I take time out of my packed schedule to visit and supervise this place to guide the stupid, incompetent employees like you." It was probably just a heated exchange of words, but unfortunately it happened right as several employees and part-timers were on break. Everyone in the room went tense. The president's wife, red-faced, kept yelling. "Useless people like you should be grateful I let you work here. Without my generosity, you'd all be jobless in this economy." "If we're talking about useless people, then you're definitely the most useless one here." "What did you just say?" she screamed, jabbing her finger at me. "Do you have any idea what happens when you talk like that to the president's wife? You are fired right now." "That's fine. I was just discussing quitting with the manager anyway, so this works out perfectly. I'll leave right now." I felt completely relieved. 3 weeks later, I was already working at another clothing store. One day, as I happened to walk past my old shop, I saw the president's wife working there, sweaty and looking exhausted. Apparently, after I quit, it was like a dam had burst. Staff members started quitting one after another. I heard the president even told his wife, "If you can't bring the store's sales back up, I'll divorce you." Considering how much she had interfered with everyone and flirted with the male staff, she had it coming. "But please, Ashley, help me. This French brand," she called out desperately. "I don't work here anymore, so," I said and walked away. I'm sure someone as highly educated as her will manage to turn things around somehow.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.